Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
And I'm Rangru, hello, hello, hello.
And guys, we know it's Christmas for all of you people tomorrow. And, happy holidays for all of you from us here in the US and Canada. But until then, we're going to allow you to open up your first gift from us this week. Coming over here on Slutzfest, we have ourselves a real humdinger. Rang, who's fighting and what are they bringing?
Well, on the left-hand side in blue, we have Metal Phase playing as Trof Tartalek, which is the Hungarian infantry division, with a balanced income. And on the right-hand side, we have Stellaris, but he ain't gonna be conquering the stars. He's playing as 3rd Canadian, and he also has a balanced income.
That's probably a good thing. I'd hate to think that he's going to start deploying like world crackers and things like that. I'm not sure the whole phase torpedoes has really found out a counter yet here.
I think nuclear weapons would also be a little bit broken.
Hey, we proved that in World War II already.
Yeah.
You and I had a bit of a laugh kind of going into this. What is so humorous about this particular matchup?
It's just... I'm really happy that we've been sent replays, and thank you for everyone who sent in replays the past week. This is a bloody Tartalek. This is something that you just do not see, because arguably the worst division in the entire game. To put it in perspective, they have very lacking in terms of long-range AT capability, and they got like decent infantry, but it's really at AT that really hinders them. And on an open map like this, against a mechanized Canadian division with scary Sherman tanks, I'm really curious to see how Metal Phase will be able to survive against the Canadian onslaught. And also, of course, seeing Canadians as well, but I'm biased in that regard.
It's about time you actually, recognize that. All through SD44, you were like, Khan's got a German bias. But now we see the truth. The truth has come out.
Yeah.
But you know what, Metal Face, I think all he has to do is let his whole necrodermis get damaged, and he just kind of it blends back together, his troops get repaired, and we go right back to the fighting. That's how it's going to happen, man. It's pretty straightforward, I would think.
Yeah, it's just got to get those reanimation protocols.
Yeah, gotta roll a lot of 6s. Or 5s and 6s, I think, with...
Yeah, 5 and 6s.
That's what it was. Latest edition, 8th is always weird. But in the meantime, so like you said, tons of vehicles on the right-hand side. We're actually going to get kicked off right now. And of course, we see a ton of rifles for the Canadians. What do we expect again from the Hungarian infantry?
Well, first off, a lot of Hungarian infantry. They're pretty well equipped, honestly. They're not the best runs. It's not like the Husaruks with the really fast-firing rifles.
Mm-hmm.
But, he does have, like, a few light French tanks, the captured runs, of course, and like a few Stugs, I believe. But that's really it. And also the 40mm AT guns, which are honestly pretty good because they shoot rather fast.
Well, and what's more than that? I mean, yes, it's true we have a couple of Shermans definitely seen on the top, but down south we see a Stuart and we see a Humber.
Yeah.
Not too inordinately scary, and as this guy is going to show, that 40mm it's going to be quite terrifying once he gets online.
Mm-hmm. The town's very interesting because Metal's already dropped in some off-maps, just some small 100mm, but in such a tight area, it should be rather devastating.
Yes, and actually we're going to be seeing some smoke. Now, of course, I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I'm sure you saw the most recent dev diary mentioning that great new feature that's going to be added to the game.
Yeah, the rules of engagement, which already the smart orders have done a pretty good job of helping just the micromanagement aspects of SD2. I think we can all agree the artillery smart order may be a little bit too good. But with the new one, which allows you to fine-tune the rules of engagement that your units will engage in, definitely looks like it's making the game more macro focus and micro focus. Have you ever played like combat, like close combat or Gravity Tactics? It's pushing the game more towards that direction, which I think is great.
I definitely think, that was definitely one of the hardest things for me to do, and still is sometimes, kind of getting all the extra micro that kind of goes into this game. So I think it's going to be great breath of life into the game.
Same.
And we're going to see right now that early off-map artillery has been phenomenal and actually forcing the Canadians back.
Yeah, that was really good artillery. He's starting to suffer a little bit from his own success, because he can't actually move up into the town because of the artillery is still dropping. But on a map like this for Metal Phase, fighting over that town is going to be very important. He really wants to try and stick to the close quarters areas because that's where his division is going to do better. And Stellaris Spitfire just completely knocked out the 40 mil south of the town, and now he's off for blood against the Messerschmitt.
Yeah, I was checking actually down to the south in the meantime. Kind of interesting. We don't see a ton of machine guns, especially early on. It's a very defensive play. But machine gun engaging as the Vickers, I kind of didn't remember that the the MG-34 absolutely wrecks a lot of the Western Division machine guns.
Yeah, you just do that Lafayette mount, man. Like those general purpose machine guns, very general purpose.
Also, you're going to do a lot of Lafayetting yourself, I'm sure. But here we are, another barrage being dropped on the town. The southern side, yes, it's going to be a little bit stagnant for the moment. We do have the occasional exchange of firepower, mostly between the 40 mil and that Sherman. I'm just continuing to be fascinated by this rather aggressive use of 100 millimeter, essentially, mortars.
Yeah, that's working really well. I mean, just because of how narrow the town is, you can just drop in those tight group, long-lasting fire barrages. And as you see, it's doing fantastic damage against Stellaris' infantry. The real problem we have is really just going to be tanks. As we see, Shermans, they might as well be IS-2s in this case, because there's not much in terms of front or AT weapons that Tantalus has to really deal with them, on especially such an open map like this.
Yeah, the one thing I actually am appreciating is the 40 millimeters. Yes, that might be a little bit underpowered, I mean, from a kind of a caliber perspective, but I love seeing the heat ammo in there as well. I'm still used to seeing the APCR shells. So having heat, so a good amount of damage despite, and really not sacrificing that, oof, that's got to be delicious.
Yeah, it's the same thing as the, like the Pak 36 with the heat shells. So it's like a grenade launcher, Panzerfaust rocket thing. It looks really funny, but I wouldn't want to get shot by it if I was in a Sherman tank.
It's certainly fair. Now, we do have a couple of these H-39 tanks coming on, and these guys are barely better than Italian tanks, I would argue. What's the point of them? I mean, what can they really be used for in this matchup?
In SD-44, these things used to be really good because they were. I mean, they are still pretty cheap in this. They are still pretty cheap in this game, but the problem is they're so slow because they're bloody French tanks. So it takes them forever and a half to get to the front line. In a match like this, you really can't do that much. They can fight the Stuarts somewhat, but it's not really a great fight for them, in all honesty. But really just want to try and keep them in forest and close quarters areas, and just use them as a mobile machine gun, because that's really all it is. And we're seeing a lot of air power here from Stellaris.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of necessary. He's been seeing these, we're getting barraged back into the Stone Age, so he's got to use that air power as that shield. I think it's a very good idea.
Yeah, no, Spitfire bombers are definitely a very good call, because once they drop the bombs, they can also be used as a fighter plane.
Yes, actually, I've never really been understanding exactly how much maneuverability they regain after the bomb's being dropped.
Oh, it's a lot.
I'm sure. Like, I have absolutely no doubt that you're absolutely correct there. I just never have known the numbers behind it. Last barrage being dropped in the town, will it hit some of this reinforcing infantry? Super lucky.
Damn, that is a perfect barrage, and a metal face is slowly phasing himself through the town, so to speak.
Well, I'm looking to see if we're going to have another barrage coming in. We do not. In fact, we have some anti-air coming in, which I think is well overdue, but a really good call as well.
Nice thing about the Hungarian anti-air, also acts as decent anti-tank.
And anti-infantry, for that matter, I'm sure.
It's pretty much anti-everything, if we're being honest. It's one of the few units that can pretty much kill every single unit in game somewhat effectively.
True. And the first piece of that's coming actually right over here. Oh, no, never mind. A little further back than I had anticipated there. But, all right.
Yeah, this is... Malphase is making Tartalek work really well. And, like I said, Tartalek is one of the worst divisions in the entire game. So it's very interesting to see them being played.
I am surprised that we're not seeing surrenders from that most advanced Canadian unit.
I think he's worried about walking into his own artillery still.
Well, that is certainly one thing he's been very good at doing, is walking into his own artillery, and by, unfortunately. But sacrifices must be made for the greater glory of the Hungarian Empire, so I guess, when all is said and done, it makes sense.
Yup.
There we go. Finally, at long last, a surrender. Um, and with that, the Canadians have been forced, really, I would argue, out of most of the town. Was it about 60 or 70% of the town is now Hungarian hands?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Metal Phase has well, he did have the Canadian side of the town captured with the flag, but
Hmm.
just slowly the front line was back not into his favour. But yeah, if he can, I mean, he's got the momentum in there, which is pretty good. And Stellaris now just throwing in some thicker machine guns to Rog, and also more bombs. Really, he's been bombing them to hell and back with Spitfires.
So I guess a good question might be, what can be done other than just getting anti-air from the Hungarian side? Is there a way, do you play for the anti-air kind
I
of
think,
angle, or what do you
yeah,
do?
you definitely want to try to keep out. You just with Hungarians, you definitely want to try to get air power advantage. That's a very effective way you can, try to destroy enemy tanks. What they have for air power, I'm at a complete blank at the moment because it's not something I play or see often. But I
Hmm.
think I got decent airplane options. I think I got like some captured Messerschmitts. Yeah, I do. Yeah, we've seen a Messerschmitt
They do,
earlier.
yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause I know of I always think of Hartnett because they have a stupid amount of Hungarian Messerschmitts.
Now, the one thing that was good, but could have been supremely interesting, we had this Vickers machine gun. Actually, we had a brace of them moving up to where you see that one is right now.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, the second one never made it, but that emplacement is a little terrifying. Actually,
Oh
had he
yeah,
got both in there, that could have been absolutely devastating.
yeah, pretty much right on the crossroads. Yeah, it's a pretty good spot. And yeah, especially the one up north. That's perfect positioning.
Indeed. Now, down south, down all is quiet on the southern front, which is probably a good thing. But now we have three of those H-39s that are just kind of limping in to the front lines, and will pretty much get taken out the second that they fire on anything whatsoever.
Yeah, they don't have a good chance against the Sherman, unfortunately. It isn't hedgerow country where you could pop around a corner and actually, kill stuff.
Certainly is doubtful. Now, we are seeing a creeping anti-tank gun snooping closer and closer to the front lines, which, if he actually gets where he needs to be, he could shut down a significant portion of the Canadian North.
Hmm.
What do you see the Canadians really doing?
I just think with Stellaris, he just has to throw in riflemen and just get Sherman tanks. It's really just needs to do the classic 1-2 punch. The Sherman can pretty much deal with all the ground threats, and he just needs to play open ground advantage. Like we say, when we see this map often, if you have like the tank advantage, you really should just push middle. It's right open, yeah, but honestly, that openness is pretty safe.
Well, especially when you have the armor advantage, like you've
Yeah,
talked about.
yeah.
Where
And
we have that
around
lone Sherman who's holding a kilometer or so in every direction. That guy.
exactly, just bring up some recon, yeah, throw in some riflemen and another Sherman or two, and you can push rest rather fast.
First Stug is going to hit the
Hmm.
field, though. Very good idea there. Definitely to have something much more viable on the anti-tank front.
Yeah.
And it looks like down south, at long last, the armistice is broken. I think we're seeing a rather concerted push slowly begin from the Canadians. Worse yet, there's really no anti-tank down here.
Oh, it's like a 6 pounder, a little bit to the northeast, but nowhere near enough to help out against that Hotchkiss. It's really going to come down to the Stuart.
It certainly is. But in the meantime, some more troops coming to the center, excuse me, down south rather. The H-39s, after rumbling on their way, have now been thrown into the town. Does that make sense? Do you support that redeployment or no?
Yeah, it's definitely a much better choice than throwing them in the open. You
Certainly
can,
would seem to agree there. Now, I guess my biggest concern, though, is we still have the Stewart who looks down the road, and there's nothing and no one that's going to escape his particularly evil eye.
yeah, especially a 3-star veterancy. That's even the Sherman there. That's a rather scary little tank force. We do have some. I don't think it was a pack.
It's a the 75 mil.
Because there's two 75 mils. It's a really crap 75 mil, and then there's the pack 40 75 mil. I think I get one card of pack 40s if I recall, and then like one card of the crap 75s. Yeah, I could be wrong.
Not
Oh no,
100%.
yeah, it's
Is
pack 40.
it's the real
Oh
deal.
wait, Yeah, it's the real bloody deal. So I do have one card of those. Those few Stugs and those few Pack 40s are going to be vital for Metal Phase to keep him in the game.
Well,
And,
especially when the first thing he fires is bailing out a Sherman.
yeah. I was really good positioning, yeah. Of course, it's a very open position, but, you know, just right down the road.
Sometimes you have to be very, very aggressive and sacrifice, I suppose, though.
Hmm?
But the town fight continues to be rather nasty. We're going to see another bombing run. Is he looking for the anti-tank gun? No, he's looking for the infantry. Now, do you hit the infantry, or do you go after the anti-tank gun? What's the call?
Anti-tank gun.
That's what I would think, too. No surprise that we're being as aggressive as we are on just the infantry there. You can just kind of spam them out.
Mm-hmm. You got... With Canadians, you got a ridiculous amount of rifle spam. You're just not going to run out of infantry. Just as long as you take one C-face card of rifles, you're fine.
That would certainly seem to be the case. Now, I guess that leads us into a very, very interesting question. Long term, who's got the better attrition outside
Canadians.
of the rifle spam? I was waiting. I knew the question wouldn't be out of my mouth.
Yeah. It's just Canadians got like crap ton of Shermans, they got bloody Fireflies, and they got the rifle spam. Hungarians do have good infantry spam as well, but they only got like 3 tank slots, I believe. And that's not many Stugs, and like one of those Pack 40s. So if Stellaris can just knock out that AT, he's gonna be in a good shot.
Well, it's even worse when the Stug gets bailed out and gets shot, so...
He's not living the Stug life anymore. Yeah, it's gonna be a 6-pound, just absolutely devastating. Very good anti-Stug technology, I gotta say.
Ooh, but we have ourselves a 210 coming in. The prototype. Oh, I love these kinds of planes. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's a cool looking plane. It's got a pretty cool paint job. Get the kill.
Crew kills. I mean, that's a technical victory.
Yeah.
He's gonna buy it though.
Oh yeah, he's deadly dead. Now that's a plane I like.
You know, we always used to laugh at the Staghound AA, but really in this particular game, the Staghound AA, I think the way the suppression kind of works now, far more viable than it used to be.
Yeah, it's definitely a much better... Anti-air is definitely much better than ST2 in general. But yeah, because back in SC-44, you'd use the Stag Counter A as a ground dressing unit, not as an anti-aircraft unit.
Yep. And
Yep.
the Mosquito gets slapped. No more blood sucking for him, and he might hit his own troops. Yes, he does.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, the Metal Phase is definitely getting more heavy in the anti-air. It's got a big 80mm flat gun on the field now.
I actually do like the fact that we do see battalion commanders from both sides. We see a commander on the field, we see a Lovich PK up the north. I even love the fact that down south, the Hungarians are getting frisky. They're getting through those woods, they're getting up in the bush, and not even buying a dinner first.
Yeah, it's actually a very good play, capping the enemy side of the 50-yard line. There's still quite a lot he has to go through, and a lot of Spitfires which are bombing his position constantly. Just look at that, jeez.
They are bombing his own troops though too, so let's not kid ourselves. This is not being done for free. 45. Oh, jeez. Yeah,
40.
Those anti-tank guns are absolutely brutal. Ugh. Spitfire coming in the meantime. Actually, 2 Spitfires. He cannot let this push continue to happen. Now, I'm surprised there hasn't been any anti-air being brought into the south. The closest thing we have is that 80mm to the, way, way further north than it should be.
Yeah, it's really... Yeah, it's really not much AA down south. Definitely could use for a 40mm here, because it was Spitfires, so pretty much completely shut down that southern push. And now Stellaris is going to counter push with a Sherman and Rifleman.
He's got to be careful, because as much as you want to go and start making fun of the Hungarian infantry, they still do have Panzerfausts and forests, lots of natural habitat. Almost as natural as having an MG-34 having unobstructed field of fire on you as well.
Yeah, it's definitely weird seeing machine gun teams being used so much, because usually You just go with infantry support guns most of the time.
Yep. It's even more weird to see the machine gun actually almost use all of its ammunition. I mean, he's down to
Oh
maybe
my
1/3.
god.
Very uncommon.
Yeah. That is crazy, Khan.
But as we watch this Sherman slowly get plinked to death, I guess the question is, Rang, as this year ends, have you been a very good boy?
I think I've been pretty good.
Okay, good. Good, I'm happy to hear that. Unfortunately, that Sherman, he has not been a good boy. He gets a lump of steel for Christmas, and I don't think he's going to see leave anytime soon.
It's just left his plane of existence, that was it.
Planes! No, he's a tank. Tank of existence. Bad puns aside, this infantry, as good as it has been, and the machine gun gets taken out, you can't really repel anti-tank barrages in infantry. These guys are very much overmatched. And as much as I want to go and be like, oorah, go Canadians, a bit of a tall order against this.
Yeah, we got a decent amount of AT being brought in down on that southern side now, and even more Hungarian infantry to try and push that southern bank, which is honestly a good call trying to push this southern area, as this is like one of the few areas on the map where it's nice in close quarters, where you have the cover to actually maneuver around as Hungarians. But still, Trove, it's pretty neck on neck, and we're only a minute away from sea phase.
And Spitfire after Spitfire gets sent away with float carburetor failure. But 13-11, so we finally actually saw that Sherman in the middle of the field, not enough to actually hold down the line. And as you can see right now, that guy now gets forced to bail out. So somehow, 6 guys with flamethrowers and 2 squads of infantry are controlling a really, really big chunk out of the Canadian lines.
Yeah, I'm thinking for Stellaris, what he really needs some bloody artillery. Speaking of artillery, you got an off-map recon plane being brought in over the town. Definitely an interesting call, and I forgot its artillery barrage size, but I think it's pretty big.
Probably something like a 155 or the Hungarian equivalent.
Yeah. Canadian Stellaris really could use artillery because it's a major threat right now. AA guns and AT guns, and AA guns being used as AT guns. So being able to blow them away from kilometers away with a priest would definitely answer his prayers.
Yes. Oh, good lord! Look at the size of that barrage. That's much bigger than 155. That thing is absolutely massive.
It's like 210, I guess.
Really? That almost looks like a Carl Gustav explosion. That's.
Oh yeah. Yeah, maybe it's like 380 and railway artillery. We'd have to check it once it comes back in.
Yep, and the defense group for some reason is going right into the middle of it. You fool! Don't do it!
He's really keen on defending.
Oh, he's a provost, that's why. Never mind. Makes sense. Quartermasters are always like that. But another rifle squads, we are actually into Phase C. So I guess the question is, did Stellaris take that card that you were thinking about, or do you think he's running low?
He probably has the rifleman card. I'd say so. He also has off-map artillery. He's got really big off-map artillery, the 381 mils, so he's going to be responding back in kind, that's for sure.
Oh, there he is. Okay, I was like, did you see it? I couldn't see him on the front lines. Well, he wasn't quite on the front lines just yet.
No. Oh, that's naval artillery, actually, if we're being technical here.
I'm sorry?
I think that's technically naval artillery. So it's pretty crazy how they meant to get, like, HMS Warspite onto the Eastern Front too. Must be like a really big lake somewhere.
The Black Sea. Yeah. Oh no, actually, I guess it'd be the Baltic Sea, I think, at this point. But in any case, what the heck is he shooting at? Okay. The push down south, the anti-push, let's call it, from the Canadians. Unfortunately, hospitality be damned. They didn't really want to roll out the welcome wagon too much, and the Hungarians are back in the bush. Which is a little strange. I don't know.
Yeah, but we are finally seeing some priests being brought in. Stellaris starting to get the artillery ball rolling, and that's exactly what he needs. That can help up the southern side, pretty much deal with all the problems. As you can just knock out all those Nazi Hungarian things which are killing his Canadian things.
All the nasty Hungarian things that are powered by feet.
Push powered.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the cool thing about a lot of the German stuff, a lot of Axis stuff, is that it's a very high, powerful kind of weapon and very
Hmm.
decently accurate. Unfortunately, it's also stinking slow. Like, if you get barraged, as you see here, bit of a problem.
Yeah, yeah, especially if a very heavy infantry division such as Tartalek. If you fight against a very heavy infantry division, guys, just you can really just artillery spam them to death because
Yep.
all their power comes down to AA and AT guns in terms of tanks, and you know you have tank control. They usually win a lot of matches.
Yeah, use that smart artillery.
Yeah, just counter battery everything without having to do any microvione. But yeah, that off map's back, and god damn, it doesn't tell me the caliber on the unit card, which is a little bit annoying.
You know
I
what it does show me though is that up north, three Spitfires are dropping sorties on that northern town. Unfortunately for him, he thinks he's going to be having enough. No, we still have a full squad who's not really too terrified about that.
Yeah, and that Golosulurosusuk squad has 3 machine guns, which is very, very devastating compared to one Brun gun.
And we're seeing that happen right now in two or three bursts of fire. Yeah, he's been
Yeah,
cut to shreds.
yeah. And I like how both sides are dropping the Owen off map artillery. Like, oh, I'm gonna blow you up. Oh no,
I see your explosion, and I raise you with more explosions.
I can't go wrong with that. Yeah, this is just gonna be completely leveled. We got both huge barrages.
Although I don't know if that first barrage came from the Hungarian side, or if they came from the Canadian side, the one that we just saw. There we go. There, oh
There
my
we go.
God. And the
Jesus
other artillery gets.
Christ.
Oh no, he's only able to use one barrage that got taken out.
Ugh. Oof. Poor little guy. Jesus Christ.
And it'd
For,
be wonderful if you could actually capitalize on this and charge, but charging this would be more likely to result in mass suicide by his own troops.
yeah, that is a lot of heavy duty, high explosive kaboom.
But shockingly enough, it does a lot more bark than bang. Yes, it took out that off map, but it hasn't killed anything else. That's
Yeah.
really shocking, except for his own troops.
Yeah. But in the end of the day, Stellaris has more things in that forest, so now is the time for him to try and push once, the big things from the sky start dropping.
Until the gods stop being angry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, more slugs are moving up, but they're facing a little bit of a hard time. Stellaris is at 1 3-star Sherman, and he has just been going to Pound Town, just blasting everything he sees.
Yep, that's another kill for him right there. And the
Mm.
artillery is not being dropped. It's accurate and continuous. Three, four. Okay, we have five different sources of artillery, two of which are looking up to the north on that town side, and another 381 off map being called in. That's an interesting call.
Yep. And Metal Phase is going to be responding with artillery of his own with some 25-pounders. Which is really funny when you think about how the Germans captured 25-pounders, probably in either, the early campaigns or North Africa, and they just sent them off to the Hungarians who then used them on the Eastern Front.
In this case, against the Anzacs, who,
Yeah.
really should not be getting hit by these.
Or even fun, or even funnier, think about how some Russian divisions use British tanks, and they're getting hit by British artillery.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be kind of rough.
Just the thought of that is hilarious.
History is full of ironies that I'm pretty sure were
Mhm.
not funny at the time.
Yeah. How all these weapon systems get moved around. That's the thing I've always loved about Eugene Systems and Steel Division. They always showcase some of the rearder weapon loadouts used in the Second World War.
And I find fascinating. We have two ME-109s. And we have that 210. The 210 is not engaging anything. You think he was very afraid of those Spitfires.
Mm-hmm. Waiting for him to bugger off. And now it is his time to shine and try and strafe stuff.
Well, if he can kill the hero Sherman. Then there's no ground fire to engage. Oh my gosh.
Goes in.
There we go.
There we go. Lovely jubbly. I do love seeing a good ground run attack.
Oh, and actually, you know what? The Spitfire is dropping rounds on his own troops just so that he could engage. And he's not even necessary. He dies before it even happens.
Goes down to ground fire. Messerschmitt coming in. God damn it, it's a lot of flak. Yeah, the stand counter, yeah. That's pretty scary. Jeez.
3 MGs, yeah, I would say so.
Yep. Oh, look here, off-map being dropped in right on the hill down in the middle. It's actually very interesting seeing middle phase pursue open ground with a division that does not like right open spaces. It's a phobia name for that, but I forgot it.
Agoraphobia.
Agoraphobia, thank you, Khan.
Apparently they don't like, actually, you know what? This is a very targeted audience, so I'm not going to make that joke. In the meantime, we do have that first barrage coming in, or third barrage, I'm not entirely sure which. Even as the town above them continues to get plastered. Now, great that the Hungarians are able to plaster the town, great that the Hungarians are able to plaster this hillside. What's there to take it?
Not... For the hillside, he has a bunch of infantry, to be fair, but he really needs to kill that Sherman tank if he wants to have a good chance of moving up here. Town, yeah. He has like one leader unit, but he ain't gonna be really leading up. Probably would not be a good idea in his current predicament.
Probably not. And I think the Canadians are like, wait a second, we know something's happening here. Just that 3-man rifle squad over just to kind of check things out. And appears he saw what he didn't want to see, but he is pulling back, and rightfully so.
Yep. We've seen a bunch of riflemen all the way up north.
Oh
yeah.
Triple round took out that Sherman, so the biggest stumbling block is gone.
That's
sure,
the time
there's
to
a
attack.
Dagon coming in, but no big deal there.
Yeah, both sides, yeah. First off, we do have Oilers riflemen all the way up north, but they're just getting plastered by artillery. Secondly, speaking of artillery, both sides are really heavily investing in that long-range and direct fire game with more priests being brought out. It really just, Metal Face hasn't really brought out any more 25-pounders so far. But yeah, it's really just, devolving into the, longer, attritional, World War I style, blow you up with big kabooms.
Which, perversely, the Hungarians, I would actually almost argue, are better at fighting. You don't agree with me. I can feel the pain. I can feel the pain.
Yeah, you have a good point, because with an infantry division, they should have, like, really good artillery. And they do have good artillery options. I mean, Metal Face has been using his off-map really well, but priests are just really, really good, because mobile artillery got armored.
Oh, no doubt. I completely agree with you. Unfortunately, what we're seeing right now is that the Canadians are slowly finding themselves losing vehicle after vehicle to exceedingly well-placed AT fire.
Yeah, he's been doing a very good job so far with knocking out these Shermans, at least.
Oh my gosh, look at the north.
Oh!
Okay, I'd like to point out the fact that right now we have something like, what, 80 bombs? Excuse me, yeah, just shy of 80 bombs being plastered on this infantry and on these tanks.
Jesus Christ, that is gonna make one giant carpet.
Yes, he took out his own troops, but sometimes that happens.
Oh god, that was awesome.
The push is shut down, that's the important part, right?
Yeah, and so many JU-88s, he's gonna have a decent time keeping up Mozzie Array and also the Messerschmitt. It's like a proper bomber formation.
Yeah, it's again almost kind of inspiring to watch.
It is. It's not something you see. I wonder if you have like 4 JU-88s all flying close formation, they would be able to shoot down an enemy aircraft.
Excellent question. I have absolutely no idea for that. What I do know is that a Mosquito does not outturn an ME-109.
No, it does not.
But it is 1410 for right now. Is just another 210 coming in? Nope, we have another off-map coming on through. And the Hungarians get hit, and the Hungarians will respond in kind. I'm looking to see them drop something on top of the eastern side of this town. You see where all of this equipment is, this vehicles and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see a barrage coming on down there. He's got to know that there's something going on. The
Yeah.
metal face that is.
No, yeah, I totally do agree. And I think he might be doing that. He's bringing in the off-map runs again. Good old little recon plane that can. And yeah, he's pretty much doing what you said. Just a little shy of target, yo.
Yeah, but I think it's, if you hit the actual target itself, Stellaris sort of sees him and tries to raise him on that one.
Ah, it's just becoming an arms race. I haven't seen this much off-map artillery in a long time.
Yeah, but there's something kind of pure in that,
Mm-hmm. I off-map artillery in SD2 is extremely well balanced. They've done a pretty good job of it. It's not like an SD44 where whenever in like SD44 where people just buy an off-map at the start of the match, nuke a town, and then just rush in and finish off the survivors. That wasn't fun.
No.
No, that was just not fun.
No, it certainly was not. Actually, we're seeing a new push of troops going right into the Lion's Den over here. The Hungarian side is getting hit by small caliber stuff. The Canadians by much larger than that. And I can't help but worry about these guys getting off of their trucks and walking into it. Those guys are heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're now hugging the ground. Good decision there.
Yeah, but Malphase has slowly been capturing flag after flag. He now has a 2-point advantage over Stellaris, and I'm just completely shocked, honestly. He's managing to hold.
Yes, but that's only while the artillery is firing. What happens after that's done?
And he won't be in a good position, I guess. I'm thinking he has lost quite a few stugs and quite a few AT guns so far throughout this match. He must start to be running low of such equipment.
Can we talk about his defensive line to the south? Every man has a Panzerfaust. And at least I like the fact that we do see some veterans here to kind of keep them stiff, keep them from kind of completely and totally throwing in a towel immediately. But I'd like to see a lot more of those Loviches, or whatever they want to call them, to the north. Like, I don't quite know the reasoning behind that investment down south. There hasn't been as much interaction to support that,
Yeah, it's definitely a good defensive line. He's got the AT guns a little bit northwest of him, backing him up, which is good. But it seems like Stellaris is trying to slowly, rout him out with long-range artillery fire.
Yep, well, the off-maps that continue to go boom. Actually, is there going to be another 381? No.
I think it's 140.
140 mil.
Yeah, from the Ram to...
But it's kind of humorous. I mean, again, there's going to be no property value whatsoever, but the scrap salesman, well, he's going to have great business.
Bricks are going to be on such a discount.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, especially in your local brick and mortar store.
I'm not sure if there's a mortar joke to be happening there.
I didn't even intend that, but I'm going to go... Yes, that was intentional.
Now, who has been the all-stars of this game? I mean, obviously, we could probably point to a lot of different people, but who would you say is the all-star so far?
Off-map. Hungarian off-map has been really strong so far in keeping Stellaris' head down.
That seems to be pretty fair. I guess I was looking almost more for a more precise piece than that. Couldn't help but feel that the biplanes, or excuse me, the monoplanes, really, in my opinion, humble as it is, have been devastating.
And they have.
And for planes that cost so little to be able to do so much.
Yeah, they're pretty, off-map planes are usually not too expensive. Especially the crappy little biplane run, because it's crappy little biplane. And you're seeing another naval off-map being brought in from Stellaris, so... This match has just been explosive, Khan.
Well, I do want to notice right now we have another wave of bombers coming in. The question is... Oh my gosh, in fact we have two plane elements.
This is perfect, because that town is just a strip waiting to get carpet bombed.
But once again, they're not going to go for the stuff further back. They're going to be super concerned about the infantry up front,
Yeah.
which I would argue is great and all that, but when you're dropping on the same point for two guys, eh.
Yeah, not that great of an artillery run, I will admit. Or bombing run. I guess bombing is kind of like artillery, just flying around.
It's artillery that takes a long time to get ready.
Mm-hmm.
It's another Stellaris barrage here. You can see right now, the infantry span that we had expected is now placed rather... What's the term I'm looking for? Meekly. We see this infantry being placed on the eastern edge of town. Yes, you are underneath your anti-air blanket, but you're not controlling enough territory.
Yeah, I just think it's because every time Stellaris moves up, Malphase has just been on point with the off-map, just shutting down the infantry. He's just cuddling in the, like, the corner of the town now, a little bit afraid to move forward. We've got two Stugs just locking down the road, exchanging some shots.
And taking out the Sherman.
Hmm.
With the death of the Sherman, there's nothing really... Oh, never mind, there's another Sherman over here, I suppose. But he's in rather poor sighting for it.
Yeah.
Okay, no, now we're trying to get a nice little bit of flanking fire on that center part of the town.
Yeah, but it just seems like Stellaris has been pretty much pinned down this match. I mean, it keeps moving up in these, you know, kind of like the choke point area, so to speak, and Malphase has shut shit down every time. I mean, now he got like a crap ton of artillery. It's just a lot of 80mm mortars and 25-pounders. Nothing extremely heavy, but it's working, man.
I guess I'm surprised that the air power from Stellaris has not been more efficient in either blowing holes in or keeping the Hungarian positions pinned down.
Yeah, those Spitfire bombers do reload pretty fast, and you get a decent amount of them. But they just don't do a lot of damage. They're really just, yeah, to stress out, and then the infantry shroud so you can get a surrender. That's what they're really good for.
At long last, by the way, we are going to see the barrage on the eastern edge of town, which I think should have happened about 25 minutes ago.
Hmm.
And what's more, honestly, if they can take out the commander, too,
Yeah.
that could be a death blow. Obviously, very unlikely, but if it's that 1 in a million shot.
I think we're going to be seeing some naval off-map being dropped now. Just south of that forest. Yeah, it's definitely very naval.
Forgive me, which forest?
Northern forest.
Oh, okay,
See,
I was looking at the
just
wrong
north
side, I
of the
suppose.
town. Yeah.
Oh, the artillery commanders?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that coming very negatively for the Hungarians, but for the moment, they seem to be weathering the storm all right.
Yeah, but Stellaris has managed at least capture one more flag and bring it back to a 10-14. But yeah, I really feel like you should maybe just push to the middle a bit. I mean, he's got the rifle spam to do it. I mean, there's some AT guns here, but it's just artillery.
Well, and both those planes are back in. Actually, we have 3 off-map planes being brought on in. I'm not sure this is a shell game or what, but
yeah.
hurt.
Only one of them has charges left.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. I don't know.
That's a good call. We'll have to see, or maybe they're all fully loaded, and that would be even scarier.
Well, I just continue to love the Spitfire just drops its bombs behind his own lines and then tries to go after it.
2? Okay, 2 of them. I think they're all loaded apart from the middle one.
Yes, Legend of heating already. Fly, my pretty, fly. Alright.
This is a lot of off-map gun. I mean, that forest is just going to become not very forest very soon.
Yeah, no, it's about the glowing sea.
Yeah.
Little fallout for you people out there. As both barrages come in, yep, the center part of the map, it just explodes under a couple of shells. AT position goes down. Could this be that that rifle spam does not, in fact, work for everything?
I'm just thinking, yeah. I just think Stellaris' off-maps has been brutal. Every time he does like a rifle spam, he gets like a platoon or two of riflemen. As you see, they just get pinned down. They can't move up.
No, and even his Shermans that should theoretically be just instrumental have been completely ineffective. Yes,
Yeah,
they've taken out their opposite number in tanks, but that's like beating up a fourth grader when you're in college.
yeah. Like Metal has his stuck some pretty good defensive positions, which discourages Shermans from moving up so aggressively, and same with all the off map.
Oh my
Oh
gosh,
yeah.
another bombing went to the south. Forgive me, sir,
Oh,
but
no, no, yeah, yeah, yeah.
carpet bombing.
He's I love it. Absolutely love it.
Did you ever play Rise of Nations?
Yes.
So, you know when you get a bunch of bombers at the same time and you just tell them all to attack the same thing, you just see
Yep.
explosion after explosion after explosion? In my mind, that's what's going on here. Whenever we have that entire flight of bombers coming through.
Yeah. It reminds me of Command and Conquer Generals of the carpet bombing
Yes.
order, I believe.
I can understand where
Yeah.
you're coming from with that.
Yeah. Yeah, just looking at Stellaris' lines, he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 priests out. He's definitely and also like 140 mil. So he's not messing around in the arty party game. And from Metal Phase, it's really they're like okay, it's like 6 25-pounders on the field and a bunch of ADs. But both sides are really just going arty party.
Yeah, but you know what? It's something that we didn't see a ton of immediately, but now that it's come back in, oof.
Yeah.
I have to see how many off-map kills. I mean, the blood toll on this has to be extensive.
This is I'm honestly surprised. You know, this match has gone on for as long as it did so far.
I'm surprised there hasn't been a tap out. I feel like to a certain extent, Stellaris has to know that he's got to be low on his troop numbers, unless he has some sort of crazy push planned. Maybe starting off with the tanks and kind of backing up with the infantry from there, like theoretically he should be. He's just not allowed his troops to be concentrated in any kind of real, lasting effect.
Yeah, it's been pretty spread out, I'd have to admit. We are seeing a bit of an attack down south. Some Spitfires, which are going to bomb mills, low Vasses, but it's just not a big enough push. He needs more tanks and fire support stuff to really help out. Because, right, the rifle spam's great because you get a lot of them, but they're not great infantry by themselves, especially against the Hungarian stuff. Hungarians do have the advantage with machine guns and numbers usually. In terms of infantries.
Well, now we have things like this Firefly going
squads.
forward, and not for nothing, but a Firefly is not going to do diddly squad.
Yeah, especially when it's going to get shot by 2 anti-tank guns.
One of which is the Hungarian ripoff of the Pak-40. It's 75mm, but it's basically a howitzer.
And the other ones are from, I believe, the 19th century.
The southern one.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
97, 38M, 75mm. I believe that's... I think that's a French gun, like originally built or something along those lines. I know eventually, yeah, M1897 gun would kind of be put in the Sherman in some form.
It's entirely possible and entirely likely.
Yeah.
For the moment, we are going to see a ME210 get saved by ground fire. Those have been the quiet heroes of today.
Yeah. I've been helping out a bit and just, picking off those Shermans every now and again. Yeah, we're all seeing, I mean, we've got a lot of tanks in the middle here from Stellaris. If it's time to shine, now's the time to try and make that push. Because if you look in this northern area, there's no AT anymore. Stellaris could potentially just move up the tanks, move up the infantry, and just capture a bunch of flags. But he's just getting pinned down by the sheer amount of artillery.
I think part of it, too, is that he's actually just completely nervous at this point. Every single time I move forward, he just pounds me with more artillery. Every single time I move forward, he has AT sitting in defilade. I'm not sure he's been able to keep track. I mean, hats off to anybody who could. But I don't think he's been able to keep track about all of the various stuff that has been lost.
That's a fair point. It's a fair point.
And we have a Bofors trying desperately to defend a Stuart, and he does. Oof.
It'd have been great if he crashed into the turret. Would have fulfilled his mission.
Yeah, yeah, but a little bit too Star Warsy for my liking, but that's
Hmm.
absolutely true. But here we go. The Stewart slight damage. We have these two anti-tank rifle 39Ms. These are adorable. Wow, they killed them. That's shocking.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of surprised that Bofors has not been able to kill on its own, but hey.
Now it's just getting completely pinned down by all the artillery.
That has been a hell of a game, not for nothing, but I think Metal Face is going to pull it out.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, he has taken what we, like you said before, derogatorily call probably the worst Axis division and done something viable with
Yeah.
it, rather.
Yeah.
What was the secret of success here? What happened? How was he able to do it?
It's a really good use of suppression and artillery. It's that artillery just kept Stellaris from making any major moves. It just kept him, in a small stationary location. Just blew him up to Kingdom Come.
Yes, sir. And we can see one more victory flight of Me-210s and a Ju-88, but they're not going to get their final bombing run out.
But yeah, really, really solid match there, even from both sides.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun, and once again, thanks for sending in replays. That isn't just meta division, so to speak. We love seeing some more off-color stuff being played.
Especially if it's played that skillfully. Good lord, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
We have one Me-109 with 3 kills. We have 40 mil some kills. I mean, heavy. Yeah, here's a heavy battery Bard. The heavy battery has 8 or 9 kills.
Oh,
Another
3 or
heavy battery's
5
got
mil.
7 or 8.
God damn.
Kozlov's got another 9 or 10 by himself. I mean,
Yeah. Scary stuff, yeah.
but good lord. But folks, in any case, we hope this has been an excellent stocking stuffer for you guys to kind of check out. As we creep closer and closer to Christmas and the holidays, again from the U.S., I know for me, and I'm sure Rang, I'm sure you're thinking the same thing. We could not be more thankful for all the support you give our two channels.
Mm-hmm.
And really, as we kind of close out 2019, hopefully 2020 brings even better stuff for both of us. So yeah, Rang, any last words?
Feliz Merida? How you say it?
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad, thank you.
There we go. I was like, I wasn't sure what you were going for a moment.
I can speak Spanish.
Don't worry, I don't either. In the meantime, folks, until after Christmas, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangaroo, take it easy.